Buckle up, excellence junkies, because this podcast is definitely for you. Welcome to Rocket Fuel. Do you wish that you could surround yourself with people that love to kick ass just like you? Well, come to my party, baby, and meet some of the brightest stars in the entrepreneurial galaxy, because it is my mission to give these entrepreneurs a platform to declare what they are on this planet to accomplish and to show you why they are rocket fuel. Get ready for the ride, my dear Rocketeers. Deron,
Wow.
You weren't ready for that intro? Let's fly. Okay, my dear Rocketeers, I need you to listen to this episode. If you have this desire for more, but you may feel plagued by something in your life, trauma, your family, what family members, friends have told you are, or you should be, or you're not, right? And you feel like, well, no, I just have this ball and chain that's holding me back, and that story is not me. And today we are gonna blast that, because oh my goodness, I have an amazing guest, Deron Essex. He's the founder of Grounded Flight. Woo-hoo-hoo. And he is, what do you say? You are a spiritual architect, a business architect. You just help people realize that this pain could actually be their rocket fuel.
Yes.
Man, Deron, I am so excited that my team found you. Oh my goodness. All right, so tell us. We're going to rewind back, first of all. Yep. Right. All right, so we're going to rewind back. What did you do before being an entrepreneur? Where were you before that?
Yeah, great question. I was very lost. I was a sophomore in college, actually. And I was doing a double major in Africana studies and psychology. But at that time, I failed psychology because I couldn't pass the math portion in my school, that they had a math portion with it. And so I was really lost, because I was like, man, I don't know what I was going to do. Everyone said that I could be a great professor, but that wasn't really aligning to me. But I knew I loved to help people, but I didn't know what I would do. I was quite lost.
Wow. Okay, so it's kind of interesting that people said you could be a professor. They kind of saw something about you as a teacher. But so what was that transition? So you're lost, you're in college. Did you continue with college? Did you step out? Like, what did you do to even start? And was the first thing that you did, was it the grounded flight work?
Yeah. So quick backstory then to the actual.
Yeah.
So my business actually was in high school, and I used to be really good at photography. I was actually in the magazine in Chicago because my photography was one of the best in our program. So I had a photography business at first, and I remember I was selling prints for $25. And then the first two people told me no. And then because I had trauma, I was like, all right, they told me no. That rejection that I got from them telling me no, triggered the unhealed trauma inside of me. So unconsciously, I didn't know it at the time, I stopped doing that. And then fast forward to college. Here I was in college, sophomore year of college, and it was November, it was cold, and I had a mental breakdown, because I had so much trauma in my life that happened to me growing up, from being molested to being held at gunpoint to literally being bullied, to being physically abused, verbally abused, all these different things. And my biological father came back into my life around 18, 19. So all this anger, all of this, everything just came up. Not only that, but I was in a relationship that was a reflection of the unhealed part of myself. So all of that, that now that I look back, that beautiful concoction that got put in my circumstances to help me elevate, that led me to a mental breakdown where I wanted to just end my life because I wanted the pain to stop. And that was when uh, the thunder just like, it just thundered.
That was like dramatic. Da, da, da.
Thank you, universe. Thank you, God.
Yeah, God was like, "Oh no, you didn't."
Right. It's so funny because that was when God spoke to me, just literally like that, serendipitously. And God said, "Deron, get up and get back into your spiritual journey." And at that time, I only made one decision to myself. I said, "All right, I'm going to put the fractured pieces of my mind back together and glue them with the golden glue of healing." So that was my only like intention at that time. And so for 3 months, I kind of went like caveman mode where I didn't really hang out. I didn't really do much. I was just like focusing in on myself. I was like attracting mentors, attracting resources that I had from back in the day that I just wasn't thinking about because I grew up in a spiritual home, but I didn't take it seriously, honestly. And attracting mentors and attracting different things that I needed at that time. And 3 months went by and people were like, "Yo, you seem different. Like you seem like you're glowing, like you're confident, like you're calmer. Like what is going on?" And then I said, "Yo, do this, 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 and this." And they was like, "Okay." And then they went and go do that. And then they came back and it was like, "Yo, that really helped me. Like for real. I've been struggling with this for like years. Like, yo, thank you." And so
Wow.
I started to like just started to see this and I was like, "Yo," so I just started to help in like whatever way that I could. This was where stuff really went to a quick left. It was I then saw I was like, okay, I'm an Africana Studies major, and I used to be a psychology major. So I was like, you know what? Why is there no interconnection at this institution between the Africana Studies department and the psychology department? If a lot of people of color, especially, go through a lot of different things, why is there no interconnection?
A lot of trauma.
I started asking questions. So I put together a proposal because they had basically a competition towards whoever had the best proposals. They would fund that research for 4 years and they would fund it and everything. So I made the proposal. I was like, you know what? Let's bring people of color into the school that is in connection between Africana Studies and psychology and help people and like heal and stuff like that. And I created a whole outline, a whole everything because I just did this for myself. So I was like, yo, I just overturn my own mindset with this material.
Yeah, like was it just me or can we do this like for others? Can we
Exactly. And so then I was like, yo, like this is work for me. So this is like I know it's gonna work for other people. And they denied me. And I was like, what? I was like, I got pissed. I was like, are you serious? Like, I would not be living here with this piece of paper in my office giving it to you if it was not for this information on this piece of paper. So then I was like, so one night I was just scrolling through the proposal, pissed. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna start my own. I'm gonna just start my own program. And so there was a point where I said, I'm gonna host a meditation group and bring in these different facilitators to come facilitate. I'm like, I'm gonna host it. So that's what I did. So I printed out posters, had $37 in my pocket, printed out posters, rock, and like literally started passing them out at the college club, at the cafeteria, just everywhere, just passing out, like, yo, come to the meditation group I'm hosting. And there was another meditation group on the campus, but it was like kind of like old school Buddhist, like traditional, just like very quiet, which nothing wrong with. But I had a different approach to it. So people started coming, professors started coming, peers, people in town started to come. And it got big, yo. It got so big to us. I was skateboarding or like around campus and people were like, yo, man, I heard about your like meditation. When is the next one? And so it got like there was this like build up and I was like, whoa. This what? Like this is do this all like I just gotta figure out how to do this. And if I do this, I could do this the rest of my life. Easy. So that was when I was like, you know what? I'm investing all my like time, money, energy, resources that I didn't have at the time, but I had the ultimate resource to attract all the other resources, which I'll talk about later in this podcast, Rocketeers. And literally, I was just in a state where like, all right, it was sophomore year, so I had 2 years. I said, all right, I have 2 years to figure out this online business stuff. 2 years. And if I like, this is my like thing to myself. I'm like, if I could figure this out in 2 years, I know I could do this online. I know I could be like, doing lives and hosting coaching programs, doing everything that I'm doing now. Like I knew that I could because I saw it in that tiny classroom. And so I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And it was, it got real. So that's
so when all right, if there's somebody out there listening right now and is like, you got a spark. You somehow got a spark. Like you were down in darkness, but somehow you got a spark. And what if somebody believes like, I don't think I'll get a spark. I don't think I'm the type of person that gets a spark. I mean, obviously it's a mindset thing, but how do you break out of it? Because I feel like there's that transformation when we hit a certain point where we're just like you said, fuck it. Like this is just unacceptable. This is, and either you're out, and unfortunately I've been there. I was like, I'm gonna step out of this office. I'm just gonna drive my car into a tree. Like this is, I can't, right? But then there's something. And is it listening? Is it always there, but we just can't hear it? I don't know. What's your thought about that?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh my God, that question just warmed my soul. Because whoever listened to this, I'm telling you, this what I'm about to say is about to transform your life. First and foremost, because somebody asked me this question before, and this is why I said I believe in God. This is why I did that moment. Like I grew up in a church, and I always saw people talking about God and praying about God, but that was the moment where I was like, there is a being, a infinite being of light out there that is listening to me. Because I heard the voice. It was different. It wasn't the like loud negative voice. It was a soft, calmer, collected, centered voice. And so first thing I would say, because people are like, man, like what if I don't get the spark? Or the other thing I hear a little bit more so on the like religious, spiritual side is what if I'm cursed and I can't get a spark? And I tell them, do you believe God would put you down here without an elixir to heal yourself? I don't believe that because the elixir is inside. Because and this is the the like one of the truths that I'm giving to the community here, is that there is a place inside of yourself, and after doing like scientific and spiritual research, and this just fascinates me. There's a place inside yourself that no negativity can touch. That fascinates me, and that literally is what I help my clients to attain, to go into that inner forest, the inner jungle inside of themselves, to really find that palace on the inside. Because what I would say is that you can get your spark back. Your spark is your desire and your confidence and your imagination. The volcano may be dormant, but it's not out.
Oh, this is good stuff. Okay, so I have to pause us now, because if you're like, woo, this is good, where do I get more, Deron? You know that I always ask our experts to just give an audience gift. And what was so cool is you run this mastermind, and you gifted the audience a sneak peek into one of these sessions. And I want to give people the opportunity to, because this is like Deron and Wanda's world, right? But you need to see Deron and Deron's world. Right. Yeah. So I want to give people the opportunity to experience you igniting them. So the catchword is pull out your phone. You're going to text RF for rocket fuel dash ignite. Yep, you do it. RF ignite to 411-321. You're going to receive a glimpse of the Spiritual Fire Masterclass, a replay. The Spiritual Fire Masterclass. So this is something you have to dedicate time for yourself to just be in the zone. Now, how long was it? I was listening to it, and I just lost track of like, I don't know. Is it an hour, 2 hours?
I think it's, dude, I honestly think it's like 2 hours, maybe an hour and 30 minutes. But this is what I will say to the community.
Yes.
You allow this to be your Netflix, because the Spiritual Fire Masterclass, Spiritual Fire essentially means that. And what I tell people is that I teach in my university what the school systems and church doesn't. That, and one of those things is, I just get chills just thinking about it. All right, one of those things is God has 7 rays of consciousness. Each
We
ray,
say that again. Say that.
God has 7 rays of consciousness, like a rainbow.
Mm.
Each ray of consciousness has a specific element and a specific uh, reason for it. And basically, there's a ray of consciousness where there is a spirit, like you know how like fire is hot and like anything that touches it, it burns, right? Imagine
Uh-huh.
what a spiritual fire is like. And I'm not talking about hell or no some like demonic. No, no, no. I'm talking about there is a fire inside of you that
Mm.
cannot go out. It may be
Mm.
dim, it may get really dim, but it by law it cannot go out because it's connected to your heartbeat. So
Mm.
there is a place inside of you where if you tap back into, but you have to like this is why it's 2 hours because because like I tell people you got to first relook at yourself differently. You think
Mm-hmm.
of how the Western world has been taught you to look at yourself, or society, or whatever has taught you. Like you gotta look at yourself as your true nature, your spiritual nature. Because once you look at yourself as your spiritual nature, dude, you're gonna change everything. And one of the tiny gems of thousands of gems that's in that masterclass is that God steadily releases a stream of magnificence into your consciousness. If you are not aware of it, you can't see it.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand the laws to use it properly. But there's a stream of constant energy flowing to you, and I'm gonna show you how to tap into that. Because when you tap into that, you're on fucking fire. And when you're on fucking fire, you take motherfucking.
Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. If you're outside of the US, this is how you could get it because you
Get it.
text, yeah, if you're in the US, you text RF for rocket fuel dash
Mhm.
ignite, IGNITE. Okay, but if you're outside of the US, you can text, like if you're in Canada, or you can use WhatsApp to 1-909-741-1321. The catchword is RF ignite. So that's the message. If you've never texted a catchword before, it's going to ask you for your email address. We need it because that is how you are going to get the goods. All right. So keep your eyeballs on the inbox for that. All right. So please do that. I'm going to offer one more time at the end of the episode, but I know if people are all inspired now, I didn't want them to have to wait. Oh my goodness. Okay. So did you start doing just more of these groups meditations like what because you kind of refer to it as a university, so tell me all the things
Yeah.
that you've developed over how many years you've been doing this.
7.
7.
Yes. First off, Aslan, this is Aslan. Everybody, she wanted to.
Hi. It's a cat if you're just listening to the podcast. It's
Yeah.
a gorgeous feline.
Love the energy over here. This is her. She's just chilling. She likes to.
Oh.
So yeah. So I have an academy called Inner Alchemy Academy. And alchemy means to transform something from a lower negative, depressive, traumatic state of energy into a higher, positive, divine, transformative state of energy. And the
Mm.
reason why it's called Inner Alchemy is because I show people how to transform themselves on the inside out.
Mhm.
And the reason why I created this university and my whole mission behind everything is that I'm here to leave a dent in the world, a
Mhm.
big dent actually. And I am here to create a university to teach the people the things that they need to know so they can unlock them true selves. Because
Mhm.
this and is what the school system and what the churches don't teach. And this is not saying like I'm anti-God. No, because I obviously love God. I would not be here without God. But I also do know that people are taught to only pray and only do uh, mental therapy when you have 4 sides of yourself. You have a spiritual side, emotional side, mental, and physical side. And so I believe that if it's like mindset work without a spiritual connection to it, it's not full because the spirit is the holistic connection of everything.
Mm.
Because like I see business, and this is why I'm a spiritual architect and a business architect. This is why I created Inner Alchemy Academy because Inner Alchemy Academy helps people transform their inner pain and trauma into inner peace, unfuckwithable inner peace, and get them back into that side of themselves that no negativity can touch. Okay, and then my second program, which is called Infinity Alchemy Academy, is a program where I show people how to really take their inner peace and take their purpose and actually create a consultancy around it and actually learn how to make 6 figures a year from it, which I did last year.
Oh, so this is interesting. So you don't serve just entrepreneurs, but the first part is the healing and also finding that the journey, the pain is actually can be an asset, right? It can be something that you use. to propel yourself. And then people either can go on their healing path, etc., and just be better versions of themselves, right? Or in some cases, people choose to want to help others like you did,
Yeah.
and figure it out. So that makes sense. But that's interesting because one, you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but I do find that when people have overcome something that they couldn't even believe that it could be overcome, then they just want to help other people do it. It's kind of like you were like, "Well, I need to share this. This is like, why just for me?" Wow. Now, you mentioned something before about the curse, right? People feeling cursed. I mean, some people feel, I will say, my brother would always kid around about our last name was Toro. I'm Turini now, but my brother would be like, "Oh, there's the Toro curse." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no." I wouldn't allow him to, I'm like, "What are you saying? If you're saying it's the curse, it means like there's nothing you could do about it. It's always going to happen. Just always. And then you're just victim and whatever." Um, and but then I've met other people that are really like, feel like, "Oh, well, generationally, this is just what happens." Like, like it's just been passed on. This is something that, so I mean, do you see a lot of that? Tell me what your experience is with that, or your thoughts.
Great question. I love this podcast, by the way. This is incredible. So one, a few things here. Number one, earlier in May, I went on a rites of passage retreat with 4 other men and 3 guides. They're all men, and for 4 days and 4 nights, we were by ourselves with no phone, no food, just water. It was just me, like God, me, and my notebook, and my hammock. That's it. And
Wow.
when I was out there, I learned, and I did it to face the darkest part of myself, because when you're at night by yourself in the middle of the woods without no distractions, you become to know yourself even deeper. And it was scary, yeah, but that's why I had to do it, because I had to go to a deeper level of myself. And out there, one of the guides, Voy, I don't know, Voy, Voy, I'm gonna send you this recording, because said this thing and it light me up. He said, the demons that are the dragons that our fathers and our mothers do not slay come for the kids.
Mm.
And that could be a representation of somebody interpreting it as a curse. But when you see it as a curse, you just see it as a dragon that was just like terrorizing the land. Versus you seeing it like, well, somebody got it down the line, got to just pick up the samurai sword and be like, all right, fuck all this shit. From me. So I'm like, is that going to be you? Is that going to be you? Like, okay, if your like family or your generation has been in a lower state of consciousness, that's beautiful. Maybe you're the person that was like, you know what? We were doing this. Cut it. This is how we mentally operating going forward. Maybe this is just a catalytic moment for you to just really step into your life. Somebody said, after you're born and your family, like after you are born by your mom and dad, and like you got family and siblings, they're just really all there to reflect to you something in your awareness that you need to improve on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like even just me thinking about that, I'm like, yep, I can see like 5 different things in my inner self was like, and so,
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 little ones, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, and it's so interesting. I mean, it starts with an awareness, right? When you start behaving a certain way, doing certain things that you got from a parent, a grandparent, or whatever, and then you start looking at it and say, "But that's unacceptable,"
right.
right? So it's that awareness of like, nah, that's kind of like, I know that's how I was taught to handle it, but I don't feel like, you got to listen to yourself. I don't feel like that's the right way. And but then it becomes even more noticeable when you see a child do it as real, because they're just learning from you.
And then you're like, oh, then
Then
there's like
you're
this.
Yep, yep. And I was blessed with children, but much later in my life, and that was a traumatic experience for me. But I feel like the wisdom that I have now and the awareness I would not have had when I was 25, 27, 30, 35, whenever it was that I thought I was going to have a family. And so it's interesting because I feel like I came into that position of being the one to slay the dragon,
Mm,
right? To say, no, 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 because I don't want to pass the dragon on to the little ones.
yes.
But if it just I think Voss was his name, you said?
Boy.
Boy, boy.
Mm,
So, I mean, that it's a beautiful analogy because then you realize it's something that you can slay. It's not just something that is when you say curse, it's just you put this like kind of spiritual vibe on it, like it can't be broken and it's just
such a lot.
always gonna, yeah.
Mm,
And but that's really, really important to have that moment and have somebody just put that thought in your mind, that possibility,
mm,
that you can stop it. And it's so super powerful because you have the opportunity to become the person that you desire to become,
yes.
right?
Yes.
No limits to that. And just don't accept those barriers. And that analogy is so super powerful.
You know
Ah.
what's even more interesting as well? That like the when you think of okay, well, then you're like, well, how do I slay a dragon?
Mm.
Well, you would go to a dragon slaying camp,
Yes.
right?
It's true. Like, what are you gonna be like? Yeah, are you gonna be like, "No, I'm finally done," and then you're that terrible story that was like, "Ah," and you just, like, went mad and just did it willy-nilly. No. Yeah, you have to learn, and you have to learn about that particular dragon too, like, dig deep in to really understand the nuance of that dragon. They might have, like, little dragons behind them too once
Yeah,
you slay that big one.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, yes, and it's like you have the capability to recognize that. Wait a second, God gave me all these tools that the school system or most institutions don't hone. If we
Mhm.
don't own these tools, the dragon seems so insurmountable. And this is why the spiritual fire masterclass is powerful because I give y'all the breakdown of one like how to see yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and how to like actually begin to start moving those dragons, like begin to transmuting those dragons into butterflies.
Mhm. I have a question for you. It might be a little off. I just feel intuitively I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
But I just I find it interesting and frustrating that it has taken so long for us as a society to allow spirituality, intuition,
Hmm.
just all of this like inner reflection to be exposed on a broader level, right? Because it's really it's an inner journey, but I feel like when you go to a traditional religious institution, it's not as much focused on how much power you have internally. It kind of gives the power away a little bit, and in school you don't learn about it at all, but it's just so incredibly transformational. Like, I get confused as to why this isn't a standard thing, like, and now I love to see that, there are students and kindergartners that are learning how to meditate and stillness and all of this stuff, but why did it take so long? I don't understand. I'm just throwing it out there. You don't have to have the answer, Duran, but,
Yeah.
you know?
No, that's a very great question, and I can give you my reflection that
Yeah.
because like, I feel like there's so many different like perspectives on that, because like this question can get super conspiracy based and like left field, and it can get super like real, like it can go so many different directions. the
Yeah.
direction that I choose to take it in is from a high level, from a high level of observation, and then recognizing that like, well, one, and there's some documentaries that I want you to I'm gonna give y'all to go kind of check out. One documentary that I want to give y'all is something called Fantastic Fungi on Netflix. Fantastic Fungi. I'm pretty sure it's Fantastic Fungi on Netflix. And
Okay.
the reason why, yes, Fantastic Fungi on Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix, yo, let's do something together. Right, on that Netflix. And the reason why I love that is because it talks about the various different ways that different plant medicines and like different plants and different psychedelic uh, medicines can use in the aid of mental health and in the aid of healing. Like they're starting to use mushrooms in like therapy trials now. And 19 Keys, another guy on Instagram, that's a really great guy to look at. He said something. He said, mental like in the city is where mental illness starts, and in nature is where mental illness ends. And so
Mm,
like there's a lot of power in plant medicine, and not even just plant medicine, but there's a lot of power in just a human going back to nature. Because in one of the documents that Voy and my other guys gave me was that it was saying somewhere in there that a human is nature too. You
mm-hmm.
know, like this is why I like live in Florida. This is why I put my like feet in the grass every single day. This is why I like literally just get my like currency in a powerful high state of energy, because I believe that, you know, and even going back to the history of like how schools were created, you know, for like in the industrial revolution, and like getting like children to almost follow an order without
Mm,
necessarily going inside and listening inside. And so that then creates the whole energy. And then not only that, but like I work with a lot of people of color. And so when I break this down to them, because I was an Africana studies major too, is like a lot of us grew up thinking that education and getting a degree was the sole source of success. Because in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was, right?
yeah.
Until fairly recently. So it's almost like it's the paradigms that are like hundreds of years old that we have to really reprogram, right? Because it's like how you see, like how you think of the world and see the world is how the world is presented unto you. So if you're seeing paradigms from 400 years ago, it's going to create those same results. And so I feel like the whole lockdown, everything that happened a few years ago, gave society a chance to actually pause. Now, some
Mm,
society paused and went into fear based even deeper, and some society paused and went up into curiosity based, like, who am I? Like, what is my nature? Like, why am I really here? Like, what is my deeper purpose as a human? And what I, found is that, and I tell people, I say, when it normally takes people less than 3 months of working with me to figure out their purpose. Why? Because there's a saying that intuitively came to me, and it's two sayings. Number one, your inner treasure chest is like the waters are clear when you are clear. So you have like an ocean inside of you, and it's like kind of murky, right? For all the trauma and dirty, right? If you heal that and if you clean those waters, it's crystal clear, like you're on the coast of Mexico. And then you can, snorkel deep dive, and you see this golden treasure chest, i.e., your purpose staring right at you. And there's no way your purpose cannot see you, because when you get clear with yourself, your purpose must get clear to you.
yeah.
Second thing that intuitively came to me was that, the whole idea of it takes a village to raise a child, right? You
Mhm.
heard the African proverb before. I was on a coaching call, and it's just like this idea, intuitive idea just came to me, and I'm so grateful to God for it, because I've been sharing it with people, and it's really helping people understand themselves better. I said, well, if it takes a village to raise a child, then it takes a community for an adult to heal. And so this is where, and this is why I got, pissed at my old institution, because like, man, then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna build my own institution and teach everything that no one is teaching, because I feel like everything that we're talking about is the most important things. And once you
Mhm.
understand these things, now you can understand how to move in life and create from your center, from your purpose, that people can feel. Then that just creates more business success, which just keeps replaying and like compounding. And so, in the whole of the question, it's almost like we have paradigms that if like the illiterate Bob Proctor said this, and rest in peace Bob Proctor, he passed away this
Yeah.
where he
I love
said the illiterate of the 21st century will not be the people that cannot read and write. It will be the people that cannot change their beliefs in time.
Mm.
That's the illiterate. And so that means that as society is advancing, this is so fascinating. Like I was thinking about doing a whole like YouTube video about this, just going really deep on this. I think I am. Because it's like as society is expanding and technology is expanding, then it's the what was acceptable to know 5-10 years ago isn't as acceptable now. Like maybe 5-10 years ago, you didn't know how to need to know how to use a computer. Now it's almost like, you damn near need to know that, right? And it's like same thing as like 10-20 years ago, like you may not have needed to know how to truly hear yourself, but now that it's being more acceptable, being more talked about, or like your own spirit is calling out for more, and so you're finding people like these people or like other people, who are like connecting to that. Like all these things are kind of bringing you closer and closer to that. So as you change your belief system, you're going to bring close to you the people who can help, because we don't attract people, we attract ideas and awarenesses that are in people. That's what we attract. So like then when like we're both like, whoa, rocket fuel, whoa, spiritual fire, whoa, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Like we're just two ideas attracting each other. You feel me? And so and like just in like a physical body. And so it's like understanding that now that we get to reshape our belief system, right? We don't have to necessarily follow a doctrine that doesn't empower us. And I tell my clients all the time, I say, look, don't complain about a system, create a new system. And this is where my whole like business architect comes from, because I tell people, I'm like, entrepreneurs are like the superheroes, because they see the problems in society and then they high level observe it, and then they go, I'm gonna build a bridge because these people over here can't come over here, because it could be a physical bridge, it could be a mental, emotional, spiritual bridge, whatever it is. I'm gonna build this bridge for these people so they can go from here to here. Because entrepreneurs make a lot of money when you help a group of people go from disorder to order. Everything subconsciously wants to move into order. Everything subconsciously wants to move into order. That's why if you see somebody orderly, it stands out to you, because subconsciously you want to naturally move towards it, because that's your heavenly state of being. That's your true nature. A business is a reflection of somebody's level of awareness in the reality and in the environment around them, and in seeing if they can help something. And this is why, like I tell my clients that, and just people who like talk to me about business, is that your business is only a reflection of yourself. It's only a reflection of the level of awareness you have in your consciousness. So if you have a business problem, 10 times out of 10, it's not even a business problem. It's a personal problem apparent in your business. For example, people say, I have a time problem. I'm like, you don't have a time problem. You have an identity problem, because the times in which you are thinking from an identity that is a procrastinatory identity. And you cannot outperform your self-image. So if you can't outperform your self-image, and if your self-image is that of somebody who procrastinates, it don't matter what time stuff you watch or listen to. If you don't change the image, the beliefs, your time will always seem out of your control. Same with finances. Finances is only a reflection of the level of awareness that you have within your subconscious money consciousness, or as I like to call it, your spiritual success opulence oven.
Ooh.
And so like, it's like people say, man, I want to earn more money in my business, or I want to, do this and that. But it's like, okay, well, who is the person that earns more money? Who is the mental state, the emotional state, the spiritual state? How are they on calls? How are they when they're servicing people? How are they when they're talking to their employees? All these things, right? It's like we have to become the self-image of who we want to be, because once you do that, your business just reflects that. So I noticed my business changed when I stopped seeing myself as a little boy who was vying for validation, and started seeing myself as a leader who can change somebody's life. Once I saw myself like that, I started to attract people who also saw me like that. And thus they started to get results, because I trusted myself and they trusted them. Yes. So it's like we are in a precipice right now where it is the most incredible time to build. Think about it. The question you can ask yourself is, how far can I open my consciousness to receive what I want? That is the ultimate question. Because think about it, there are infinite levels of awareness. That means there's a level of awareness, or if we want to do the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I love that too.
Yeah, I love it.
If we want to go there, there's another multiverse in which you are that person that is making how much you want to make, 50K a month, 100K a month, $1 million a year, whatever, right? In another universe, another multiverse, another nexus points. Okay. Like there's a version of you that has what you want. So then, snap. The question then becomes, how can I go, ding, ding, how can I go like, ding, ding, how can I turn my receiver mode to match the frequency of that person? Because if I'm on the frequency of that thought pattern, I must attract those physical circumstances into my life. See, I want to teach y'all something real quick. And I know that we have 40 minutes, but this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, this is
no.
yeah.
Oh my God. So, and I got time. Okay, we got time today. So literally, like in the sense of there's something called spirits. I want to like really give y'all this. There's this something called spirits. Spyrics. Spirits. Now, we're not taught this in school, but it's way more important than physics. And physics rule the life. But spirits are spiritual physics. Spyrics.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
SPY.
Like spy rigs, the spirits.
Yeah, right.
And so the powerful part of spirits is that it is a law that states, it's all good. It's a law that states that as you amass and collect spiritual molecules, which are infinitely stronger than physical molecules, the physical counterpart must show up in your life. So let's give an example. If I had in my mind this idea of this idea of a car, for example, this idea of a car in my mind, Tesla Model S, black, ooh, tan interior, ooh, cyan, like cyan, like neon lights around the inner side, like maybe like Batman or some shit. Coat, right? Immediately, if I hold that thought in my mind, if I hold those spiritual molecules, which are imagination, right? If I hold that in my mind, and I held it in my mind the whole trip, I saw nothing but Teslas. Just like, and people have done this. Like they think of a number, they see it everywhere. They think of a color, they see it everywhere. Why? That's spirits. It states that whatever your dominant thought is, or your dominant imagination, the dominant image in your mind is, it creates a charge in your body. That charge in your body attracts its physical counterpart. And this goes for good and bad. So that means that you literally, so I tell my clients, I'm like, imagine that your potential clients are coming at you in every single direction. Imagine that literally there's a long line of people waiting to sign up with you. And the more you imagine that, you hold that in your conscience, you hold that in your mind. Literally, I'm telling you right now, I have people walk up to me who say, dude, I love your art. And then they just start asking me questions that I will answer for my clients. Literally, my neighbor who's moving out, he didn't know what I did. This was I think the most fascinating one. He didn't know what I did. He never asked me what I did. Like we've been neighbors for like 6 months, right? Like we just say hi, like whenever we would kind of be in passing. He was like, dude, I'm moving out. I love your aura. You can have this $2,000 TV that we just bought. We're not trying to move nothing. Here you go, man. Like I love your aura. Right. And so it's like, so I'm programming my subconscious to say that I am an angel. And I'm programming my subconscious through spirits by saying, hey, that the universe is blessing me. Like I opened it, like I literally was just going to the pool and he was just like, bro, here's a TV and anything else you need. I'm like, whoa, right? So it's like you're programming the world to respond, to react to you.
Yeah.
This is what we teach.
Ooh. Oh. This was a lot, but you need more. All right, you need more. So at a minimum, you need to go grab that replay. All right, RF Rocket Fuel RF-Ignite to 411321. Come on now. If you're running, if you're driving, just pull over. Pull over. You pull over when you're running. Whatever it is, just pull out your phone and just do it now. I the reason why I say it is I don't want you to end listening to the podcast, this interview, and be like, wow, that was amazing. I need to find Deron. No, like you're going to find him there. You could connect with him, right?
Yes.
But just text RF-Ignite to 411321. You're going to receive the Spiritual Fire Masterclass replay. If you're outside of the US, remember, you can also text RF-Ignite to 1909-741-1321. You could do that using text or WhatsApp. Deron, what a pleasure. Man, we went over, and I'm just grateful that you dropped all of that amazingness for our listeners. I think I have a sense, and I'm sure you had a sense that somebody needed to hear this.
1000%. And I
Right?
thank you for hosting me. I am grateful for this opportunity. I thank you all so much for listening. And I hope that I was able to connect some new dendrites and open some new doorways and hallways and turn on the chandelier in your mind.
Oh, I like it. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing rockin' day, rockin' weekend. And to you, my dear Rocketeers, the same. Bye now.
Peace.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, every one of our episodes is boosted by a value-packed keyword called a catchword. Yeah. This allows our audiences to text to receive even more value from our guests. So take advantage of that great value. And if you share your expertise by guesting on podcasts or TV or speaking in front of live or digital audiences, then you're leaving anonymous fans behind. So go get a catchword at catchwords.com, KETCH words.com, and use podcast20 as a promo code for 20% off your setup fee. Look, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Rocket Fuel podcast so you never miss your jolt of rocket fuel.